everyone, and welcome to the Diabloherald. This is episode 6. Yes, we have made it more than halfway through to episode 10, which is kind of irrelevant because I hope to be doing it long more than 10 episodes. Today we have some awesome topics lined up. The patch 1.0.2a is live. There's a new wizard exploit found. We asked the question, is the auction house the source of all Diablo 3's issues? And Bashiok responds to the 35 suggested improvements thread. Today, as always, Highlander is with us. How you going?
Hello. I'm good, man. I'm good.
That's good. We also have Chet. How you going, Chet?
Hey, not too bad.
How's things in New Zealand?
It's getting a bit cold, actually.
Oh, that's pretty much exactly the same as here. And we have our new guest today, ZiggyD. How you going, Ziggy?
Great, thank you for having me on.
That's no worries. So let's jump into our first topic, the patch 1.0.2a. I got it right that time. So these are mostly just tooltip updates for some of the hot fixes that have gone through. Now, the reason that they did this, if anyone doesn't know, is because they can't update tooltips with hotfixes apparently. It has to go through on a full patch. So it's just a few things. Demon Hunter tooltip's been updated to display 1.5 second, which one is it? The lingering fog on smokescreen, which is now 1.5 seconds rather than 3. Monk Fist of Thunder with quickening now explains that the skill generates spirit faster due to faster attack speed. The Mantra of Healing with the Boon of Inspiration. It used to be called Boon of Protection, and this is the one that people were using because it gave a shield to the whole party. Now it just gives the party like a life 1 hit bonus, I think it is. But yeah, they've completely redone that skill. But this is all just the tooltips that have been updated. Wizard, there's a Wizard one as well for Force Armor. Now this one, it's in the patch notes, but I had a look and I asked a friend of mine that has a Wizard, and it doesn't actually seem to be updated. I don't know if you guys have looked into this. No one has a Wizard here, do they?
I have a Wizard on softcore, but not with that rune yet, so I haven't checked it.
Yeah, I haven't got that either.
Yeah, but I don't know, maybe people can leave comments on the video or tell us in the chat, because I don't know what the story is, but it seems to still say the same thing that it did before. So I don't know what happened there. A few other little things. Nigel Cutthroat has fallen on hard times and he will drop lower quality items when slain. This is the guy in Act 1 before you get into... What's that area called? I can't remember. It's an event where you kill...
It's a farmhouse or something. It's like the Farmer's Daughter quest, isn't it?
I thought it was...
that guy?
No, it's towards the end, near the Halls of Agony, just before the Halls of Agony, level 3. You know how you go outside for that short part and you get that quest with the guy, the weapon maker or something, and Nigel Cutthroat's the... I don't know, I didn't pay enough attention to the story to be able to say what it is.
Yeah.
Awesome! So, Gold Quest experience for Heart of Sin, which is the Asmodan quest, has been reduced. This is to stop that power leveling thing that people were doing. So yeah, that's all that is.
Yeah.
And they reduced the maximum duration for auctions to 36 hours rather than 48 hours. Have you guys noticed a difference with the auctions? Start with Highlander.
Yeah, absolutely. My auctions now take 12 less hours to complete. Other than that, it's a good change. That's it.
Well, I can't really say it's affected me too much because I try to price things to move pretty quickly. So if they're not moving within the first 2 hours or so, I consider it a failure. So I haven't really had too many things go to that 36 limit anyway.
Yep.
But I like severely underpriced things. So
Yeah, it seems like, if it's going to sell, it sells within the first
yeah.
couple of hours. Yeah. So that's pretty straightforward. Did anyone want to say anything else on this patch? It's all pretty straightforward.
You actually missed one. They actually fully removed the golden quest experience for harvesting the keep as well.
Sorry about that.
That's interesting. But they've just fully removed that whole quest reward there. I guess they felt there was an issue with the spacing, like they were too close together. 'Cause sometimes it does feel like you're getting rewards every couple seconds for some of those quests.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of odd that you get a reward for a quest that's like, a couple of seconds or whatever. Between once you kill the guy and then you go to the next part and there's another quest reward.
It seemed like something that needed to be done though. It was a pretty big. It was being exploited to the max.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Otherwise, tooltips pretty straightforward.
Were you able to actually skip to the go to the keep one without actually doing Asmodan?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
well,
okay,
I think
right.
the thing is, it kind of is irrelevant because the way they would do it, it was a certain way of doing it where the maximum, you get the maximum experience, and then you left the game and you resumed the game, and if you had 4 players, you could basically hand in that quest 4 times that second one without having to do anything. So
yeah, no, I totally got that. I was just wondering if it was possible to pretty much just get experience by just walking around town at all, if there was any, because that might have been, I knew that it was being cheesed pretty hard, of course, and that was the big problem. But yeah, just the fact that they've gone from not just a reduction to a straight removal just leaves me wondering.
Cool. Well, maybe if anyone knows, they can put it in the comments.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Cool. So the next topic I have here is a new wizard exploit that Ziggy pointed out to me today. Do you want to explain how this works, Ziggy?
Yeah, basically, it's actually turning out to be a bit of an exploit for most of the characters, but the wizard primarily, just because of the way it pans out. But the summons, such as the Hydra also counts as a summon. I imagine the Witch Doctor summons and the Demon Hunter summon all count as, I guess, enemies or life or units or something like that. So when you unsummon them, it actually counts as a kill. So if you have life on kill gear, it's actually healing you each time you unsummon them.
Yep. And they
basically you can pop that for a heal spell just for a little bit of extra. I don't think the energy costs on popping up an extra Hydra is that bad considering it's attacking anyway.
Yep. And on the post we saw, there was a guy saying that he was getting back 75k health every time he did it or something like that, which is just a lot for something that you can recast pretty often.
Yeah.
Chet, did you have any thoughts on this exploit?
I don't know how big of an issue it'll be at, say, the end game, because right now most ranged classes are kind of just doing the old glass cannon. They get one-shotted anyway, so there's not really any health to heal. Maybe later we might see something come out of it, but it'll probably get fixed before that.
Yep. Okay. Any thoughts?
Definitely not intended design, I don't think.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. I would guess that it's something that's pretty easy to fix too. I mean, I'm not a computer programmer, so I don't really know, but it doesn't seem like it's something that would be too hard to fix up. So yes, cool. Let's talk about the next thing. Now, this is a bit of a discussion. It was a thread on Diablo Inc. gamers that I found randomly, and Kairos, something like that. Sorry, has basically, he's saying that the AH is the source of all of Diablo's problems. Now, basically all he's saying is that the game's less fun because the items don't drop enough to make it exciting. like strong items don't drop enough to make it exciting. The simple solution, obviously, is just to increase drop rates. But if you do that, then it's going to flood the auction house with these, strong items, therefore making them less valuable. And, that makes it really easy for anyone to just go and buy the items. And, that doesn't seem like a lot of fun. So that's basically what it's about. Now, did you read the thread, Highlander?
Yeah, I did. The guy makes some compelling points. It's a little bit about whether you want to engage with the auction house, and I did read a post from Bashiok a while ago, which pretty much said you're expected to trade if you want to do things quickly.
Yep.
And that definitely covers a lot of the progress that if you wanted to progress quickly in Diablo 2, you would need to trade, but you could, or the rate at which you'd progress if you wanted to do it slowly was a lot quicker. And when I played Diablo 2, I refused to trade as soon as I found out the economy was tainted in any way, which was before I really even wanted to trade because it happened pretty quick. Then I just totally disengaged. I wouldn't pick up anything that wasn't. I wouldn't use any item that I hadn't picked up or somebody with me hadn't picked up. And I mean, you actually did get good stuff. Like you'd actually get legendaries or uniques, and they would actually appear relatively often compared to now, where it's just I've picked up one. I'm halfway through Hell, and I've picked up one lousy legendary.
Yep.
So it does have a very different feel. You are more inclined. You are forced into that trading-like situation much more, but then at the same rate, it is a lot easier. It's not as challenging or frustrating as trading was in Diablo 2.
Yep. Do you think that that's a game breaker though, or do you think it's just that the nature of the game is different now, and it's just sort of the way it is?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's a case of like I actually quite like things like the auction house where you get to buy and sell and trade and try and work the system a bit. I mean, that's part of the game to me, as I see it.
Yep.
And whilst it's not a function that was in an earlier Diablo game, it's a function that's in plenty of games. And there's plenty of games where you try to specialize in something and you try to work the auction houses or the marketplaces and things like that. So I think it's fine. I think it's part of the game. I don't think it's broken it. I think it's just something different and doesn't work like it used to.
Yep. Okay. Chet, did you read the thread at all?
Yeah, I had a look at it. Yeah, like Honda said, it's compelling, but I don't know, you can't really take the auction house out. That's not going to make the game better. It would be nice to have the option to sort of progress at a reasonable rate without relying on the auction house. I think that's my biggest concern right now.
Yep. Yet the fact that you have to rely on the auction house to get through the game.
Yeah, kind of. At least at a reasonable pace. If you don't, you could do it, but you'd be farming for a long time. And I'd go as far to say that you'd probably abandon certain classes and make like a demon hunter or a wizard who can progress with a lot less gear. And, you'd make that your main, you'd farm, and then you'd transfer the gear to the class you actually wanted to play. And that's not really appealing in my mind, but that's pretty much what I'm seeing happening right now.
Yep. Okay. Ziggy, you got any points to make on this one?
Yeah, well, it's hard not to agree with the points that he's raised about it, like the fact that it has affected drop rates, and that sort of changes the way that the game played from the way that Diablo 2 played, and that you aren't getting those quite as rewarding drops. Now the reward is more in giving you the ability to play the auction house and having that economy. But I have to say, in and of itself, I enjoy the auction house. I like games that have an economy, sort of like what Highlander was saying. I like the idea of playing with that and trying to, make money through buying low, selling high, all of that business.
Yep.
But yeah, it definitely does impact the game. But in terms of just fun, I don't know whether what it takes away from the game is worse than what it brings to the game.
Right.
I think one of the big downsides to it is not just drop rates, but also it just makes other things that have always been part of the game, really quite defunct. Pretty much just the artisans. I mean, sure, the artisans haven't always been part of the game, but the scope to craft items, for example, has been part of the game since Diablo 2, and has been there a long time. That you would upgrade jewels has been there, and now you don't do that. It's stupid because the auction house just is so well and truly superior.
Yep.
And that sucks. That's a real bummer. I hate that I don't ever go to the blacksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit it is a bit lame that we don't really use that when you can easily just go to the auction house. So I mean, one of the things that I was worried about with this game was whether I could actually resist the urge to go to the real money auction house once it comes. And I mean, I suppose I didn't worry about it too much, but then once I got to Inferno and hit that brick wall, it's kind of like, man, how am I going to do this? And you do a few runs and you get crap, and then you go to the auction house and you spend a bit of money, which is okay for the gold auction house to me, but then it's going to be just so easy to spend like $5 and get like 1,000 DPS weapon just to make the game fun again, so that you can get through the content. Do you think are you going to be spending money on the real money auction house, Chet?
Probably not. And actually, recently, today, because of the general chat that's been implemented that everyone's forced into, gold sites are actually advertising how much they're selling gold for. And I think right now I saw one, 1 million gold is $19 US. So if you think all those items you see on the auction house for about 10 million, that's $200 real cash.
Wow.
So I probably won't spend that much. But I think I'll avoid the real money auction house for a bit. If I could sell something, on the other hand, I'll give it a go.
But what do you think? How do you think that's going to translate when Blizzard implement the real money auction house to gold prices? Because I would imagine that once it opens up that huge market of everyone that plays the game rather than just the people that are farming the gold, then gold prices are going to go down.
They should do, but don't underestimate the Chinese farmers' ability to farm gold, mate. Plus, they can undercut Blizzard, and they still get all their. They don't have to pay for all the PayPal fees and whatnot.
Right. Yep.
I'm gonna call my prediction now and say that just after release of the real money auction house, maybe within a week, gold prices will be $3 per million. Nowhere near this $19 per million.
Oh yeah, no way for sure. But
okay, cool. Highlander, have you got a prediction on gold price?
Oh damn! Didn't know that was going to happen.
I was hoping.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a prediction.
No, it's just going to get smashed. It's just by how much.
Yeah.
I'd probably go further. I'd probably say something like 50 cents a million or something.
Really?
Yeah, just because there's the gold farmers. There's a lot of people that are just farming because as they play through the game, you just farm by default. And like right now, if it's $20 when you can't get it legitimately, then that has to just fall apart really quickly by the time this comes in. Now, keep in mind as well that there might be a slightly pessimistic prediction on how long soon will be for getting the real money auction house up.
Yeah.
In 6 months' time, who knows what the economy is going to be like.
Yep.
Well, I suppose one other thing to remember about that is the gold farmers are not necessarily farming the gold either. They could be just hacking people's accounts and taking it, which is a lot easier than actually farming it. So
That's true.
That's, one other thing to keep in mind. Who knows how difficult it really is to acquire. So yes. Anyone have any other comments to make on the auction house and their fears? Yes, no? No?
Yeah, I kind of just feel like the auction house, the game, the basic game mechanics, and the crafting system.
Diablo
are all
auction
just-
house, the game. Sorry.
Well, those three separate entities, I just feel like they're all pulling 3 different directions. Like, they're all awesome ideas. And, like, Diablo 3's mechanics are awesome, and the auction house mechanics are awesome. And the crafting system is awesome. If it was the only option there, it would be awesome. But just they don't seem to agree with each other, and I don't know how they're going to sort that out.
Yep. It just the I guess the blacksmith seems so way overpriced when you're used to looking at auction house prices. Cool. Well, the next topic is the Blizzard game design update. This was actually, how long ago was this? 2 weeks, something like that. No, hasn't been that long. It feels like a long time. Anyway, so Highlander pointed out to me that we should probably talk about it. Do you want to tell us what it was all about, Highlander? We seem to have lost him there.
Bum pow. We'll come back to it.
Oh, I was relying on him for this one.
Go on to the Bashiok one, I guess.
Alright, cool. Well, when he comes back, we'll talk about it. So the next topic is Bashiok replying to the suggested improvements thread. Now, I've just chosen a bunch of them to talk about because a lot of them were just, not that interesting and things that are pretty I like things that are actually already in the game, and the guy just didn't notice it.
Yeah.
So, I think. Is
Hello?
he back? Yep, there he is.
Yeah, sorry, I could hear everything. My mic just decided to disengage.
Awesome.
So just keep going with the
Yep.
Bashiok post.
Cool. So, I'll just read out the points that I collected. The first one is, as a player, I want to have some sort of warning or confirmation box when I'm about to do something that will cause me to lose Nephilim Valor stacks. Now, this has happened to me, like with the bar. I've accidentally dragged skills to different spots, which is a pain because you're in Inferno, you lose your stacks, and on top of that, you have to wait like 40 seconds or 60 seconds to even be able to use the skill. And if you happen to drag it onto another skill, then you've got 2 skills out for that amount of time, which usually means death. So Bashiok's responded saying that they are implementing an action bar lock in the next patch, I believe. There was some more suggestions made, but he said that they're just going to see how the action bar lock goes, rather than putting in, a sort of a confirmation box that comes up and, says, "Are you sure you want to do this?" So we'll see how the lock goes. That, to me, I think that's really all that's needed. I think the other ways of losing your Nephilim Valor buff are, pretty easy to make sure you don't do, like leaving the game and stuff like that. What are the other ways you lose it? Ziggy, do you know the other ways?
Well, pretty much just dragging, changing, or changing your potion as well, which is sort of like, I think, just an error, and I think they'll be
Really?
fixing that.
Oh.
Yeah, changing your potion type using the toolbar.
Oh.
Change counts as losing your Nephilim, so be careful of that one.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Just, I think, because the toolbar was one entity, they said, but it was something they were looking at fixing. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been fixed yet or not, but it'll be coming.
Okay.
I actually think a confirmation box is a terrible idea. As a hardcore player, I
Yep.
think having a confirmation box popping up when I accidentally click on something is going to cause more pain than losing Nephilim Valor.
Yep.
Because, I don't want something in the middle of my screen.
When the follower drops off, and if somebody's joined your game, your follower goes to disappear, and it's just like, whoa, this got this thing that just blocks half your view. It's very, very
Your
annoying.
follower's going to sleep now. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Just leave, just go. Actually, I got a question for ZiggyD. Have you ever actually click and dragged an icon around on that toolbar accidentally?
Intentionally, I've done it, never accidentally. But
Yeah,
I
see,
could
me
see how
neither.
it happened kiting, but yeah.
I think, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, part of the thing is that I don't kite that much, as
Yep.
much as I'm being a witch doctor, but I thought it also might be a bit of a StarCraft 2 thing because I use hotkeys all of the time whenever physically possible. So I
Yep.
thought that might be a factor.
Oh, yeah. Do you think people might actually be clicking their bar to use abilities?
Yeah, I think so.
I
I've
didn't
heard
even
that.
consider that fact.
Yeah.
Just like using the numbers. Yeah, that I could see that would be a problem.
It's not something I use hotkeys, obviously, because I'm like totally pro. But it's happened to me twice, and both times it was when I was dodging One was the Butcher, when he does that big attack after like his little hop on the spot, his double hop on the spot, and you've got to run a big circle around him. And because the hitboxes are so big, I did, went as you go to the edge of the screen to run around him, and I accidentally grabbed my skill and moved it. So that was one of the times, and the other time was similar mob that does a big swing attack, and you have to dodge those attacks by running around them. So that's how it's happened to me, and yeah, it was really, really annoying. Has it ever happened to you, Chet?
Yeah, same thing. Just kiting and keeping my cursor on the edge of the screen. Yeah, I've just pulled skills off and lost the buff.
Yep. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. But yes, the locking should fix that. Sorry, were you going to say?
This pace might not work if we've got 35 improvements in this thread.
Well, a lot of them don't really require much. I didn't get all 35, but some of them are pretty much just straightforward, and I've just got them in there because Bashiok said that they're coming in the next patch. So,
Cool.
Like the next one, number 2, as an auction house user, I want to check box for buyout only, which makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Bashiok said that it's coming in the next patch. And number 3, as an advanced player, I want the option to show numerical cooldowns on my abilities. And Bashiok has said that it's probably not going to happen right now. I think he's basically saying it's not really very high on the priority list. Now, personally, I don't really see how that would help that much. I don't know. I think that the clock style one is good enough for me. I can see when it's about to finish. But I don't know. Chet, would you like to have number cooldowns on your page, on your box?
Yeah, I think I probably would, just because I use a number of skills that are short, like 20 seconds max, but I have like 4 of them, so
Yep.
having the numbers there would help me stagger them out till the point I could pretty much eliminate one champion mob out of a fight completely. It'd just be really useful.
Yep. I don't know if it's the way I play or just because I'm like a total noob, but I just don't really get it. I think I just get the feel for how long the skills take as I play. I don't know. Highlander, any opinion on it?
Yeah, I can see why you'd want it to time stuff out. If you've got something that runs for 90 seconds and you've got another skill that's got a 30-second cooldown and you plan to use the 2 of them at about the same time, then you want to cast the one that's got a 30-second cooldown when the other one has 30 seconds to go. So that makes sense to me.
Yep.
But the response from Bashiok was pretty much just along the lines of, we don't want to get things too technical too quickly. So,
right. Yep.
They just didn't want numbers on absolutely everything, which is a little bit understandable, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. Catering a little bit to casuals a little bit too much when it's just options. They don't want to clog up the option menu, I suppose. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's right. He said something about, I'm not sure if it was this point or another point, but he said something about not wanting to clog up the options. Which is...
See, I don't understand that. I'm a firm believer in the 50-page options menu. Like, your 1 page of basic options everyone uses, and then 49 extra pages of advanced options.
Well, I mean, they can go the way of so many games where it's like, you just actually have a bit of a script and you type, / options or whatever for the serious advanced users, and that, like, how you turn on FPS display and stuff like that. You just do that for things like that.
Yeah. Yes, there seems to be a lot of things where they've just overlooked, known, I guess, conventions like that in other PC games. It's a bit odd. Cool. So I'll keep going. The 5th point, as a player, I want to be able to increase or decrease the font size of the chat window because of different resolutions and all that kind of stuff. Bashiok has said that it's a planned change for the 1.0.3 patch. Number 7, yes, yay, which is what he said. Number 7, as a wizard, I want to be able to see a buff icon for magical weapon and familiar so that I can know its current status. Now, Bashiok has said that they are adding a buff icon for magic weapon in the next patch, but they don't intend to add one for the familiar. Let's see, the next one is number 11. As an auction house user, I'd like to be able to repair my items from the auction house so that I can sell them without going back into the game. What has Bashiok said? We're just changing it so that you can sell damaged items in the next patch, and they're automatically repaired for the buyer for free.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't read that second point there, that they're automatically repaired. I just thought people would be, selling their one durability kit on the auction house, and other people would just be like, now I gotta go repair it.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's painful, the most painful part about that for me is just when you're looking at your stuff and you just can't see it. Like why? That's just such a weird thing. Anyway, number 14. As a player, I want the experience bar to hide once I hit maximum level, so it doesn't take up unnecessary space. And this is actually something Chet said way back when we first hit level 60. And Bashiok has said that the UI isn't modular like the World of Warcraft one is, so it's a lot of work to be able to move parts of it around. So it's not really something that's high on the priority list for them at the moment. So
I think it would look cool having that as a level 60 thing. You get to level 60 and all of a sudden your UI becomes a little bit more slim and cool looking. People watching your stream know that you're at level 60 just by looking at it and stuff like that. But yeah, maybe later after all this other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things they could do. Anyway,
like
number 15. As a player, I want to be able to... What is it? I want to see what difficulty my friends are playing so that I can know if I'll be interested in joining them. And Bashiok has said that they have some great social window and quick join improvements coming in the next patch. So that's good to hear because, yeah, that would be cool. It's a bit odd the way they've done it at the moment. Anyway, number 21. As an auction house user.
Sorry, just before we go on, he also mentioned that they're looking at doing some broader social window and quick join improvements, like a bunch of usability and UI changes and other different things. So, and especially in a couple of other posts, he mentioned again just broader improvements to that area, which I'm optimistic about.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing specific yet, or just.
Not really, no. But yeah, like I said, I've been cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Cool. So number 21. As an auction house user, I'd like tooltips for damaged items to still show. We already talked about that.
That's same thing.
So that's happening. Number 32. As a ranged player, I want invulnerable minions to not block my projectiles. Which is understandable. Chet, you've obviously had issues with this type of thing, being a witch doctor.
Yeah, they're pretty much... If you can down them in 5 seconds between one of your CCs, you can go for it. Otherwise, just skip it. It's not worth the effort.
So you just flat out skip invulnerable minion mobs most of the time?
If it's something that has low health and I know I can drop it really quick, I'll sometimes kite it back to a doorway, throw up wall of zombies and just drop it really fast. Otherwise, I just skip it.
Yep. I think this is something that's a little bit off my radar because I don't have that much of a problem with them. I can usually take them down, with not a huge amount of greater difficulty than other packs. It depends on how swarmy the type of enemy is. And when I say swarmy, I mean how much they get around you and beat you down, in a big circle. Because if it's only three guys, like a champion pack or something, sorry, not a champion pack, it's a rare with not too many minions, it's usually fine because it's all about how much damage the minions are doing to me, as to whether I can kill it or not. So, but yeah, it hasn't been hugely difficult, so I haven't, had that much of a problem with the invulnerable minions thing. Now, Bashiok has kind of said that it's just the way the game is, and he said we think invulnerable minions are a little bit ridiculous right now, but I think they're going to leave it for now and see how it goes. What does it say? But I wouldn't say this suggestion is probably needed if we just make some overall changes. Yeah, so I guess they're looking at them, but there's no planned changes right
I don't think
now.
they're going to make arrows path through invulnerable minions or anything, but they might change just the way that invulnerable minions work. But I don't know what they would change.
Yeah,
Any ideas?
Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe they'll make them more like shielding, where the shields drop or something. I don't know. That
I think they like the mechanic as a general rule. It's just too OP right now.
maybe they could just look at the different types of enemies and then give them the right amount of minions depending on what type of enemy they are. I don't know. Maybe if they had less minions, it wouldn't be as much of an issue. But I don't play a ranged player, so I don't really have a problem with it. Cool. This is the last one that I picked out. 33. As a player, I want to be able to disable companion conversations so that I'm not annoyed hearing them all the time. This is obviously annoying a lot of people. Bashiok's just said we're well aware of that. But I was kind of like, really? Does this annoy people? I don't know. It doesn't annoy me. I enjoy it. But maybe I haven't played the game enough. Does it annoy you, Chet?
No, I actually really enjoy the conversation between the companions. I think they're just something interesting to go on when you're just killing mobs over and over again.
Yep. I think when the Templar, says things after killing a champion pack, it's kind of like, yeah, right on. We killed those mofos, I really like it. I think it's awesome. And then the normal kind of conversation stuff, I don't think it happens often enough to be annoying. Have you been annoyed by it, Highlander? You probably haven't had enough chance to play the game.
I wish I had, but I use the scoundrel a lot, and there is one bit of conversation that I do find really annoying where I ask him why he left Kingsport, and it's just too often. But yeah, all the stuff that just triggers on something and then it's an alert and a warning, they're cool. I like them.
Yep.
And overall the conversations are good. I just, maybe if it would, perhaps depending on my area, cycle through the ones that you unlock and have to talk to them about.
Yep.
If it did that, that would be just completely awesome.
Yep. Have you been annoyed by it, Ziggy?
I actually think the Templar has excellent comedic timing. Like, it seems like right after I killed the Butcher my first time playing through, and I was terrified and sort of just reeling from the battle, and he just starts rambling on with something completely unrelated. It's just, have you any idea what we've just been through?
Yeah.
Overall, I don't find it too annoying, but I could imagine that I might in 100 hours or something, maybe after 2 years more of playing or something. And just put the option there, page 49 of my options pages.
Yeah, right. Of your /advanced options.
Yeah, just put it in there.
Cool.
Give people the choice.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's all the improvements I picked out. I think the rest of them were just like pretty obvious things that weren't that interesting, so I just took them out. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about was the Authenticator. I just wanted to quickly explain how this works. There was a thread with a guy that was in the army, I think, and he was saying, oh, the Authenticator's a sham, it can't possibly work because I'm overseas deployed and there's no way it can be connected to the internet. So how can it verify the number with, the Blizzard servers? It's all crap, blah, blah, blah. And someone explained really well how it works. So basically, I'll just read it out. An authenticator is a secure random number generator based on the current time and a secret seed that only your authenticator and Blizzard know. So it doesn't have to be connected to the internet. It's just a little thing that shows a random number. So there was a blue post by Zarim, that basically just said, yeah, this is correct. That's why you need to attach the serial number to your Authenticator before using it. So yeah, it doesn't need an internet connection, and they do work. I haven't heard of anyone getting their account hacked with an Authenticator, and it's the best way to keep your account secure. So if you don't have one, it's just a really good idea, unless you just don't really care if you lose all your items from your character, I guess. And don't pay attention to the stupid articles that people are writing saying that, it doesn't work, or that people are getting hacked with authenticators, because they're totally unfounded. Yes. Any notes on the Authenticator?
I think that might be an understandable misconception if you lived in the Americas and you always have the internet everywhere you go. As an Australian and who often doesn't have the internet where he goes, then yeah, this becomes like pretty straightforward that my Authenticator doesn't always talk to the internet.
That explains why my Authenticator isn't like 30 seconds behind Blizzard servers all the time with lag. I'm kind of glad it doesn't need the internet. I'd never be able to log in.
Yep. Does any of you have... Sorry, were you going to go ahead?
Oh, no, you go, and you can come back to me.
I was just going to say, does any of you have a one of the actual physical authenticators, or have you all got smartphone versions?
Smartphone here.
Smartphone.
Cool. So we're all poor and don't want to pay $20 shipping.
Poor enough to buy smartphones.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. So
Serbitar in the chat says he has a physical authenticator.
Oh yeah, that's because he's old school. Now, what were you going to say before, Highlander?
One just answering a question from chat. Yeah, there is one for the Android. It works just fine. It's really cool. Actually, sometimes when I miss Diablo, I hit refresh, even though I'm not going to log in. It's pretty sad. But I just wanted to mention, just on the hacking front, there was just some interesting posts. The whole BattleNet forums are still ablaze with people whinging and complaining and sulking and freaking out. And that there was a couple interesting posts. There was a good one on InkGamers, which was helping to debunk some crazy conspiracy theories, like Blizzard's hacking at themselves, and that's the only way that anyone could have hacked me, because it's just not possible. And some theories again about the public games and replacing your session. What's it called? What's the word? Spoofing your session or something like that. And people who could hack and trick BattleNet as to who it was, and pretty much they were being either just straight out given no answers, as in you're wrong, no, by Blizzard. But then there'd been some interesting people who'd come out of the woodwork who'd actually given fairly technical responses about why the poster was partly retarded. So, long story short, the public games are safe. Don't worry about it. There's no one reputable actually saying anything relevant to anyone on this earth.
Yep. Yeah, public games are absolutely safe. Cool. Now, let's go back to the game design update. Do you want to tell us what that's all about, Highlander?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit out of date because it happened 4 hours or something after our last podcast. But we had some interesting stats that came out of Blizzard, just saying that at that time, 80% of characters were between levels 1 and 30, and less than 2% of characters had unlocked Inferno, and 54% of hardcore players chose a female character. Very useful stat. And my favourite stat being the majority of hardcore deaths, that is 35%, occur in Act 1 normal. So I don't know how that forms a majority, but I think what they meant was the most common place for hardcore deaths occurs in Act 1 normal, and that there was a good bit of diversity in Inferno, but at level 60. But of course that doesn't mean that those people are actually being effective. They're just at level 60. Mm-hmm. Anyway, then they just talked about just how they're reacting, that they're reacting via hot fixes wherever possible. So not wherever possible, so where it's required. That's
Yep.
what they did with those three skills and runes that we discussed before. And really, it's just when those things are acting in a way that just totally wasn't anticipated
Yep.
and was just too strong. And they don't plan to just nerf every strong skill. Their intention is to just not have simple skills that are just absolutely required to progress. And just the standout quote was, "If any single skill or rune feels absolutely required to progress, it means that skill is working against our goal of encouraging build diversity, and thus they nerf it in the face."
Yep.
Inferno is meant to be hard. You're meant to have to farm stuff. This is all stuff we've talked about. But they are keeping a very close eye on it. They had said that they hadn't been able to test Inferno the way they, could have, because the way they designed it was they made it, or they played it. They thought it would be hard, and then what they thought was, or what their best guys thought was about right, was what they took and then doubled, and then that was what the setting was. I really liked what they were saying about there being a lot of spikiness occurring in your damage in Inferno, and that they wanted it to be really hard, but I think that they just wanted to have less emphasis on one-shot kills, and you're just taking huge spikes in damage. They wanted it to be more even over time, which makes sense.
Yep.
And you can build around that, whereas if you are just getting one-shotted all the time, that's just kind of sucks. And they just wanted to see how allow you to mitigate some damage and stuff like that.
Yep.
Blah blah blah.
Uh-oh.
Mike's died again.
It's back now.
Oh, there he is.
It's having a fit. I might wrap this one up.
Cool.
They also talked a little bit about items, and that they are going to be looking at reviewing items, that they'll be buffing some items, and they'll be what they buff won't apply retroactively. So if you get a legendary now, it might suck, and you might have been better off finding it soon.
Yeah, but they didn't specifically say that they're buffing legendary items, did they?
Actually, I've got a standout quote which says, "We're planning to just straight out buff legendary items in a future patch."
Right. Okay. Oh well, that's good.
Yeah, and so they are doing that. They also said that a lot of the comparisons between blue items and legendary items were being unfair, and that was because when you at the end of Hell, you can get level 60 items, and if you're at the end of Inferno, you'll also be getting what appears to be level 60 items, but they have an internal item level, which might be eye level 63. And to compare those two is actually quite different and quite unfair. So you really needed to actually be comparing an eye level 63 blue with an eye level 63 legendary to get a better comparison. That being said, whilst some of the comparisons were unfair, legendaries will still get a buff anyways. They also said that would probably be in patch 1.1, so that shouldn't be too far away. And they said the final part was that they're going to be changing the leveling for the blacksmith and the jeweler, so they're probably going to be looking to make that cheaper, again to compete kind of with the auction house, so that people are actually using it. And then they're going to be reducing the amount of gems required at all but the higher levels, so you don't need actually 3 gems to combine, you only need 2, which the summary of those two combined quotes is, don't spend anything at an artisan at all if you can help it, and just save it, because you'll be able to upgrade them or combine gems for cheaper later.
Collective size from everyone who already has upgraded to level 10. Oh.
Yeah. I think I did it like the day before that thing came
I only
out.
got to level 3, so I can still save a bit of money.
Okay, cool. Well, now there was a couple of local things that we wanted to talk about that Highlander brought up. There was some pretty extreme latency happening a couple of days ago, and there was a bit of a confirmation from IONET, the ISP, saying that they had some issues with their, I guess, connection between here and the US. And I didn't hear about it till this morning, but I noticed the lag yesterday. Do they have IONET where you are, Ziggy?
I'm through Telstra. What's IINet?
They're just an ISP.
Okay, no. I've been getting a pretty much normal around 200, 300
Yep.
latency.
Yep.
Not great, but what to be expected.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm on INET, and I know Highlander's on INET as well. Obviously, Chet being in another country, they probably have like NZNet or something like that because it's New Zealand. But yeah, anyway, this is just an interesting thing that happened. Apparently, they've fixed the issues now, but there was a thread on the Diablo forums explaining what happened. Do you want to explain that a little bit better than I did, Highlander?
Lag sucks and people get it.
Yeah.
But to actually be fair to IINet, that some other people were copying it from other sources. It was just IINet that had customer service representatives that were active enough to respond and confirm.
Right. So it's not
if
like
you had
it's not like it's just them.
yeah, and they I found that they IINet's generally quite good. So it was a bit sucky that that happened, but.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't just them. It was just pretty much a case that we were, a lot of us Aussies were getting really, really, really bad lag. It was pretty much just unplayable for me. I went and shopped the auction house for a while.
Yep. Yeah, and but it was really only the last couple of days. It wasn't anything before that. I don't think anyway. I experienced some pretty bad lag just in the last couple of days. So, yeah, it's not got to do with any of the issues we've had previously to that. And yeah, it's apparently all fixed up now, which would make sense because now I'm not really having any kind of issues. So
there's something sort of in line with this that people might also be experiencing and mistaking for lag. There's actually been some frame rate issues a lot of people have been having since the most recent patch.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 10.0.2 or something?
Yep.
Yeah, because I have a few videos dealing with frame rate fixes and stuff, and have had a lot of people come back and comment saying that just since this patch, they've been having more severe frame rate, like more stuttering, like severe drops and changes in frame rate, which can sort of seem like lag as well. And I experienced that for a little bit, so I wonder if that's sort of combined issue there.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not lag, but it can seem like lag.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, lag and frame rate can really feel the same because it just feels like the whole game's slowing down, I suppose.
Also on the latency front.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can I be heard?
Yeah.
You guys hear me? Yeah. Just quickly, one thing that's also relevant, especially for Aussies, because we talk about latency more than anyone. The latency indicator, there was a quote from Bashiok a week before last, I think it was, where he was actually saying that you shouldn't confuse it with ping. Because ping is naturally something that people talk about the same way, but it's actually the real latency, as in time from get to your computer to the Blizzard servers to be processed and then returned. So your latency should be higher than it would be if you simply ping to the Blizzard servers.
Yep.
So it's just it's an interesting point because it does make things seem worse than they would otherwise be.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Cool. And we'll jump on to our last topic, which is sort of related to that. Also another local one. There's been heaps of these happening, petitions for SEA servers or Australian, New Zealand servers. I just wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about it. Now, have you guys signed any of these types of petitions? Chet, have you signed a petition?
Nah, I haven't. Not online for anything.
Highlander, have you signed it?
No. And okay. Are you going to do the rounds before we get into reasons?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last petition I remember signing was the one to change the graphical look of Diablo 3 long before it was released. But no, I haven't signed this one.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, well, basically, okay, so I'll just ask, let's go with Highlander. Do you think that it's going to make much difference? Do you think that people are even going to use it? Because one of the things that I've found...
did we clarify what it's a petition for?
Possibly not.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Do you want to do that?
I'll do
I'll
that.
let you do
I'll
it.
do that. It was pretty much just a petition for at petitionbuzz.com, and we will include the link in the comments on YouTube. But it was just at petitionbuzz.com/petition/Diablo3, and it was for the Southeast Asian server, which currently only supports StarCraft 2, to also support Diablo 3. That's based in Singapore, and is, as the crow flies, the epic crow flies, it's closer to us than the America server. But there's obviously a lot of issues for and against with that. But it was a petition to get it on the SEA server, and it has 173 signatures at the moment, which, considering that not that many people, I would really say, read the Diablo 3 Australian New Zealand forums, I'd say that's actually quite a bit.
Yep. But it's not many customers, considering how many people play the game. So,
no, but considering how many people would actually go there, go into that forum, actually check that out. I mean, I don't know how many places they're plugging this, but I wouldn't say it's all that many.
Yeah.
And so many players would like it, but are just so casual, etc.
Yep.
That they just wouldn't see it. I'd actually say that that represents a significant interest in getting such a thing.
Yeah.
But as for me, as to why I didn't sign it, because it's kind of just too late as far as I'm concerned. You need to playing a fair bit of StarCraft 2 and really supporting the SEA server there. I found it I was really frustrated to hear that they weren't going to be supporting Diablo 3 in the first instance.
Yeah.
But now that it would be it would be a case of Diablo 3 defaults to the Americas. Yeah, okay, they could open it up, and look, I'd be all for that, but I wouldn't go to use it.
Yep.
And I think it would just create more confusion for people, really.
So you're saying it's too late because people already have their characters on the Americas server.
Yeah, exactly. There'd be nowhere to transfer. And the other issue is that you also need to have a decent population there as well. So you don't want public games to suck. You don't want the auction houses to have no turnover.
Yep.
So if they did support it, it might not be up to the Blizzard quality.
Yep.
And that would just make it worse and make that server just that much more of a fail. So look, I guess if they supported it, it couldn't hurt. But it couldn't hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't really see it being a worthwhile time / money spent for them.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think this is one of those situations where it's either just the grass is always greener on the other side thing, or it's just lots of people have different points of view. It's one of those two. I'm not sure which one it is, but I think we kind of stuffed it up with StarCraft, and we proved to them that we wouldn't really use the server because people complained that they couldn't play with their, American friends and wanted to be able to play on the US server. So they had to open it up and let us play on it. And there's that many people that don't even play on SEA for StarCraft that I know that live here in Australia. They all play on US. And for various reasons, some of them because they think that the quality of game is lower, so they play on there because they think they can get a better rating. But they've just chosen to play on US anyway, just because it's a different community. And like you say, if there's not enough people to make things like the auction house as lucrative, then people are going to choose to play on America anyway. And the other thing is that with as far as I know, a server in Singapore is actually not going to be that much better off in terms of latency as a US server, because apparently your signal has to take just as many jumps to get there. I don't know the technical ins and outs of it, but apparently the latency or the ping is not that much better than US.
I've had better latency on the US servers for StarCraft 2 occasionally.
Yep.
Yeah, than SEA.
Yep. What's your opinion on all this stuff?
Look, when the SEA servers for SE2 happened and everything, I was a huge supporter, and then I tried to play on there and tried to create communities on there and everything. And it was really good for StarCraft 2, but I think the current setup is a step towards a globalized playing community of Diablo. And the only thing that they need to change is just improving their servers and making ping and things better, just through better infrastructure.
Yep.
I don't think they need to divide the servers up again.
Yep.
I like the fact that we're all playing together, and I have a lot of friends in the US, and I play with them, and I don't have to pick and choose between playing with SCA players or US players. I just play with everyone.
Yep. Cool. Do you think like the upgrade to broadband here in Australia would make much difference to our latency issues?
I hope so. The what's it called? The
NBN.
National
NBN, yeah.
Broadband Initiative.
I hope it's going to make a big difference, but I don't know. It might make a little bit of a difference in latency and things, but it's going to improve our downloads and everything. So I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know how that will play out.
Chet, would you play on the SEA server if they had one? Chet? Hello?
Oh yeah.
There he is.
No, I don't think I would. My understanding was, at least for New Zealanders, it was better latency to NA for StarCraft 2, so I don't see why it'd be any different for this.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think we pretty much all agree on that.
One interesting point for me, if we want to do the predictions front, is I don't think that they'll continue to support the SEA server forever. I think it's eventually going to you're going to have the option to merge your existing SEA StarCraft 2 account into the EOS, and that'll happen, I don't know, maybe around or after a Heart of the Swarm expansion, something like that.
They did say they wanted to merge them all together anyway. That was the plan.
Yeah, I'd actually be happy if they did that too, because I just get really confused. I've got friends on SEA and friends on NA, and it's all too confusing for me. I'd rather it just be all in one place. Cool. Okay.
Yep.
Did anyone else want to make points before we close it up?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's about it from us today. This was the 6th episode of the Diablo Herald. I am Huego. I've had Chet, Highlander, and ZiggyD with me today. If you want to find us, you can find us on youtube.com/Diabloherald, or we stream the podcast on twitch.tv/Diabloherald. The podcast is also on iTunes. Had a bit of issues with the hosting of that, so I've sort of missed a few episodes, but I'm going to get it back up and going on iTunes for all of those people that have iPhones out there. You can find us on the D3 Downunder forums. We hang out there a lot. It's been a bit quiet recently because everyone's busy playing the game, but hopefully it'll pick up once people get a bit bored. I've also got the Twitter going, doing a lot more tweets now, twitter.com/Diabloherald. You can email me at diabloherald@gmail.com. Patrick has a YouTube. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I have an achievement-based channel where I talk about achievement-y stuff for StarCraft 2 and Diablo 3, and that's at youtube.com/ScottishMoo. And I'm much more active on Twitter because it's really easy, and that's twitter.com/HighlanderSC.
And Zingy, you've got some pages and stuff too.
The easiest places to find me are YouTube and Twitter at /ZiggyD StarCraft. So CRGGYD. And I'm pretty active on both of them. Like, I'm uploading a video every day now on YouTube, so
Cool.
check them out.
Awesome. Well, that's about it from us. Thanks for listening, guys. We're now going to go on to some of our hardcore play, continuing on from the first episode last Thursday. So I will restart the stream and we'll be playing hardcore. Yeah. We'll see you later.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
See you.